All right, hello. This is the tutorial for the assignment of 14, which is animate your fruit creature. I'm probably going to have you animate both of them. This will change, but you're going to animate a fruit creature. To get points, you've got to animate at least 4 pieces of fruit. Eyes, mouth, ears, arms, whatever you like. Let's see how to do that. The first thing you do is go back to the assignment where you turned in the fruit creatures. So you go back here to assignment 12 or whatever it was in your class and download what you turned in. You made 2 fruit creatures, a fruit head and a fruit creature. You're going to download the one you want to animate. So download it, go to Finder, and open it up. This one, so I am going to work on this one, fruit head, and we'll click on it to see it kind of looks like this. So I'm going to animate this. So first thing I do is double click on it, and it opens up in Photoshop. By the way, the class I'm in is animation, and we don't do this in this class because we have to start with graphic design stuff. So you guys made this already, and here's the deal. I opened one that is organized wonderfully. Every eye piece is in the eye folder. Every nose piece is in the nose folder. Every mouth piece is in the mouth folder. If you don't have this done, you need to organize them. You need to go down here and create new folders, name them, and organize everything. I'm going to reorganize a couple things. The tongue for the mouth is in this background folder, so I'm going to pull it up into the mouth folder. But you got to reorganize stuff so it all looks nice and neat. Yours might look a little like this, where everything's kind of moved around. You got to say, oh, turn this on and off and be like, oh, this is part of the eye. I'm going to put it in the eye folder. All right, once you organized everything into separate folders, the next thing to do is get rid of these masks, because you can't animate something. And if you don't, you'll have to animate the mask and the object. So that's a pain in the butt. So what I want you to do is right click to the right of this thing, and I want you to convert it to a smart object. Convert every layer to a smart object, and you can see the mask goes away. Now the mask is embedded in the picture. Right click, convert to smart object. Right click, convert to smart object. Now you have to do this with every piece of fruit. So get to it. Right click, convert to smart object. Got to do it with every piece. Now unfortunately you can't do this with a whole bunch of pieces. You can't grab both of these pieces and do it, or it'll combine them together, and you don't want to do that. Unless you really want to, but make them all one layer. And I'm almost done. I got to do it to all these things. Right click, convert to smart object. All right, now that I've converted everything into a smart object, I'm going to collapse all of the folders so I can see them again, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to animate it. Now, how do I animate this stuff? I am going to go up to the very top to Windows, to the workspace. Window, workspace, and instead of being in Essentials, I'm going to go to Motion. Motion. It's a new thing, sort of new. Click on Motion, and you will see at the bottom here a little area. So yours will kind of look like this, where you have a time. It looks like there's like a timeline down here, and you can create one. The first thing I want you to do is grab this little area here and pull this way up. Give yourself some room. Pull it way up here. Pull it way up here. You can always zoom out so you can see everything, but give yourself room to look at your timeline. All right, the next thing you do is create a video timeline. You're gonna make a video. If you click on it, now if you look over to the left here, all your layers are in the timeline. And if you open up your I folder, you'll see your layers. So that's what you want to do. Now, the first thing I think I want to do is animate the eyeballs. I'm going to make the eyeballs move. So let's open up my I folder with this little arrow. And it looks like these are the back of my eyes, these are the front. So I'm going to expand my eyeballs. And if you remember from geometry, transform means rotate and translate or move. So you're going to move them and rotate them. That's the main thing you're going to do. And you make sure this little blue thing is at 0. Your timeline is for frames. And this is 1 second. So there's 30 frames in a second. Put it at 0 and then click on the stopwatch on each eyeball. Boom, boom. And you can see it makes this something called a keyframe. In animation, it's called a tween. And this is where I want the eyeballs to start. And I want them to move pretty quickly. So I'm going to make a move in 10 frames. 10 frames. So I'm going to go from 0 to 10 frames and add another keyframe. Boop, boop. So nothing's happened yet. I haven't moved anything, but at this second keyframe, I'm going to move the eyes. So now I'm going to go up here to where the eyes are and move them to where I want them to be. I'm going to have the guy look to the right. He's going to look over there. All right? And let's see what happens when I play it. When I move my little thing, look, the eyes move right there. They move from here to here. And if you hit the play button, whoop, they move over there. Kind of cool. Now, I don't want them to just move again. I want them to pause for a second and look that way. So I'm gonna move I want them to hold there for about a second. So I'm gonna move for a second later. I'm at 10 frames. I want to move to 1 second and 10 frames. And add another keyframe. In here they move. In this big space, they're not moving. So I'm gonna add a little keyframe. There you go. Movement happens, no movement happens. Now I want them to look the other way. So I'm gonna grab this and move it another 10 frames, add a keyframe, and I'm going to have it move. This is the short distances where I have it move. So I'm going to go up here and have the eyes move the other way. He's just going to look around, check out where everything's at. You know? There you go. Now we can watch this at the end. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to have it hold for another second. Add some keyframes in there. Boop, boop. Go 10 frames more. Now I'm going to have him look somewhere else. Maybe have him look upward. Oh, I don't want it to get bigger. I want his eyeballs to get bigger. Oh, there you go. Move it upward. Hit done. Have this move up. I want to really look up here. Cartoony. I'm gonna have it go another second, and he's gonna move again. This time he's gonna move back to where he started. Hopefully I'll get a loop. If I put the eyeballs right back to where it started, I'll get a loop. So what I can do is I'm gonna put another keyframe here and move the eyeballs back down to the center. And now let's play it. See what happens. Whoop. Whoop. Pretty cool. Close up the eyes. I don't need to mess with the eyes anymore. So now I go to the mouth part. And I say, okay, what do I want to move? I want to move the mouth and the tongue. So I open these up, and I first start by adding a stopwatch. The stopwatch is the first thing you do. It adds a keyframe there, and I'm going to move them with the eyes. So I'm going to open the eyes just so I can see what I did with the eyes. So I move the eyes 10 seconds in. So I'm going to do the same thing with the mouth. This is kind of confusing, so because you look up here and you can see what you did with the eyes, and then you do the same with the mouth. So I'm going to go 10 frames in, and I'm going to move the mouth. If he looks that way, I want to move the banana maybe this way. And I don't want to just move it. That's not how a mouth moves. I want it to rotate. I want it to kind of move like a mouth. I also want the tongue to come with it. So I'm going to grab, why is this thing? Get out of my way. Grab the tongue. This thing is so annoying. Grab the tongue and move the tongue with it, rotate it a little bit so it stays in the same spot. And there you go. Now I want it to stay there for a little while. So I move to a minute. Minute 10. Put a keyframe. And now I want it to move again, so I go to 20. 10 seconds more, and I look at where the eyes are. Now the eyes are on the other side, so I'm going to have the mouth. I like moving the mouth to the opposite side where the eyes are. It kind of like gives it a lot of expression when the mouth kind of is on the opposite side of the eyes, that I've learned. And now I go, cool, I click over here. Now I grab the tongue, move that back over here, rotate it. And you can look at what you did, see if you like it. So let's hit play. Huh? Kind of cool. Done with this, you preview it. So you're gonna go in here and hit play. See what it looks like. You can see mine. I animate at least 5 pieces of fruit. Looks pretty good to me. So now what you want to do is you want to do 2 things. You got to turn in 2 things to me. You got to save it as, I want a Photoshop document. So you're going to save it as, I'm going to call it fruit head. And then what I'd like for you to do is put dash your name. So I'm going to put Adrian, that's my name, and leave the .psd there. All right, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to turn in that. I'm also going to turn in a video. So I'm going to go to File, Export, Render Video. Render Video. All right, when you have this up, what you want to do is yours is going to say QuickTime here. It's going to say QuickTime. And this is a fine name once you rename it. It's going to say QuickTime. You want to change this to H.264. H.264. It's a slightly compressed. It's not a big file. Hit render. It's going to work its magic. Once it's done, you're going to look in your Documents folder. And you're going to have these 2 files. Here's your video, .mp4. And here is your PSD file. You're going to turn in both of those. Turn in both of those. Remember to upload them to your Google Drive. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to grab my graphic design folder. Where is it? Graphic design, double click. I'm going to put it in here. So I'm going to grab both of these and pull them in to here. Once they're in there, I can turn them in. Once you're there, you can turn them into your, awesome. You can turn them into the fruit art section. Good job, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Wonderful work.